What will be your first thought when you come to know about a cyber financial fraud in which people lost huge amount of money? You may sympathize with the person at the receiving end. In the same breath, you may even lament that how can people even fall for it?
But have you ever spared a thought about the circumstances in which people have fallen prey to cyber frauds? Have you thought how traumatizing the experience was and how did they cope up with the trauma? Or did they get adequate support from the police and law enforcing agencies?
To get answer to all these questions, we approached several people to come on camera to tell their ordeal. But all of them turned down our request because they feared it would tarnish their image.
But of late, we are lucky to get a good Samaritan. We will not call him by his actual name as it is our duty to protect his identity. So we will call him Vignesh. Okay, Vignesh, thank you. Thank you for talking to us. As I said, our intention is very simple. All we want to make sure is that others don't fall into the same trap as you have. So now coming to straight to the point, what were the circumstances in which you fell into this trap of cyber fraud? Can you please explain the background of what happened to you?
Uh, yes, thank you for having me here. Um, it was like I was at my office working and I got a call from a woman and she said she was from Try and she said that my SIM was going to get blocked in an hour because it was involved in some sort of crime. And I panicked because all my contacts were on my phone. And after that, many things happened. She asked me to get an approval if I don't want my SIM to get blocked, to get an approval from some police station in Mumbai. And they only connected me to that police station. And I spoke to many police officers. One of them even came on video call with me on WhatsApp to talk to me, and he was fully in uniform. And as things started going, it felt like it will be solved soon. They just wanted a video statement of me saying that I was not involved in any such crime. And when they asked me what was my Aadhaar number, I gave it to them, and they said that once they put it in their system, I was apparently named in one of the wanted lists where it was a huge fraud and some lakhs and crores of rupees was involved in it, and that I was one of among many names, some 20 names. My name was also there in the wanted list. And I panicked because they also started screaming at me. And I felt that the police, they said they will interrogate me at that point, and this was a police officer, so I panicked, and they started asking many questions, and I was getting scared. And the main reason of panicking was because it was happening and they had isolated me. That is also there. They had kept me in a separate room to ask me these questions. I remember panicking a lot because they told me I was going to lose my job, and I had just gotten my job. I remember panicking because they said I won't be able to meet my family, and so I wanted it to end, and they said the only way I could prove it was to let them audit my bank accounts. And so they asked for all my bank details, and I ended up giving it to them. And they said, I can't remember right now what they said. I think it was something about freezing the account or going through the money. It was something very foolish now that I look back, but at that point of time, it was not possible for me to think. And I ended up transferring whatever was there, all my savings, because they asked me to. And yes, the story felt very real because they even sent me FIRs and arrest warrants which had my name, even court orders. So everything happens very fast and I had no time to think.
Can you tell us how much money you lost?
My savings account, I had saved up around 50K at the time, and recently for a family trip, my father had sent me 40K more, but all of that was gone. In total, it was around 90 to 91,000 rupees.
What did you do immediately after that?
Actually, immediately after that, I didn't realize, because what happens is that these people keep in touch with you. They don't go away. And they kept telling me that they're still police, and I believed they were police. They said not to contact with anyone and not to talk with anyone. And honestly, thinking back, it feels a very foolish decision. But I panicked, so I don't live in my hometown, and I just booked a flight home. And I went back home, and only it was a day later, they had asked me not to talk to my parents also about it, because they will also get involved in the case otherwise. And what was going on in my head was, I have to keep my family safe. I can't let anyone get involved in this, otherwise they will face the same thing. They will also get involved in the fictitious crime that I believed I was getting involved in. It was only later when I opened up to my partner, and she told me that no, these cases are false and these happen, that I understood it. And then I told my parents, and that's when we realized that it was all a fraud thing and I had lost my money, because they had told me my money will be paid back to me, returned back to me. And that's when I filed a complaint on the cyber crime site, the portal. Yes, that's what I did after that.
Did you know that there is a special wing in the police force fighting for cyber financial fraud in India?
I mean, I had heard about cyber cells, but not like officially. It would be here and there, mainly in movies and web series, but I did not know about the portal. It's only after it happened to me and I Googled it. That was the first website that came to me, and I realized that, okay, there's a portal for it. That's how.
Did the police help you in any manner?
I mean, it was very complex. Initially, I was not receiving much help because there was a jurisdiction issue. I had filed my complaint from my hometown while it happened to me in my work city. So neither of the places were taking it up. So I also started losing hope. But after a point, the cyber crime portal themselves messaged me back, and they helped me out. And after that, my work city police did not help me out in the case, and it was my hometown police who got me back some amount of money, whatever I got.
Were they rude or friendly?
They were mostly friendly. I think they understand how it happens. They did not ask questions like that. I was afraid they will ask that how could I do work, because I was constantly asking myself after I realized it was a fraud that how could I fall for it. But they are more equipped with it. I think they understand that these things happen and how the fraudsters do it. So no, they were a little more sensitive. Yes.
After you filed your complaint, did the police take any follow-up actions?
Yes, they froze a few accounts, they told me, and they were keeping me updated on the mail. They said that they froze a few accounts, and they informed me there. And then they told that there were some complexities, as in whose account it was. Like the fraudster sent the money to another person's account who apparently was not involved in the matter. And the police asked me that I have to talk to him and get the money out. So those issues happened, but otherwise it was fine. And finally, I got some money back.
Did you receive any money back?
I got back almost half of what I lost. I got back 40,000 rupees, but then 50,000 we could never find.
Okay, now looking back, what do you think about the financial fraud you were involved in? Could you give your take on the matter? It would help our audience a lot.
My take would be that we have to be more informed about it. And I think putting the onus or the responsibility on the normal citizen will not be enough because they can't do anything about it. It has to be the press, the banks, the police, the government who have to constantly inform them. And I see, after it happened to me, I realized that these are very common incidents, and there are individuals who are ethical hackers who are working against these things. So maybe government can work more, and maybe they're doing. I'm not aware of it, but they can do more and stop these things from happening in the first place. Because losing the money for many people, it was after it happened to me, I read more about it, and for others it was way more money than it was for me. But more than the money, somewhere the trauma that hits you of what happened on that day, and later when you find out it was not true, is really something you can't just tell. Because for others it would seem like you were just told a story, how could you believe? But it's really not about be intelligent or a fool. It's they create a setup and acting a reality around you that you're forced to believe. So we have to be stronger, and to be stronger we have to be more aware about this.
How many months did you take to recover from the trauma?
Actually, it was not even months. It took me a year as a whole. Because after it happens, for me, it hit my self-esteem. When you always think that you are an adult, you don't get fooled by things like this. It somewhere puts you in a crisis that how could you fall for it? And it affects your work, it affects your relationships with others, and because you lose a certain confidence in yourself. But yeah, I recovered slowly. I kept talking to my partner, I kept talking to my parents, I kept talking to my friends, and they were supportive. So if anyone in the audience has a member in their life who faced this, maybe talk to them and help them out. Because the money can be on the back, but that trauma is something very tough to deal with if you're alone.
Okay, now what are the precautions you are taking as of now?
Cautions, as I said, would be to be aware, and aware as in what happened to me is now on news being called digital arrest. I remember they put me on the digital arrest, yes. But yeah, that's not the only thing. I heard there are other things like pressing links on WhatsApp, and I keep getting all those things. I still get a lot of fraud calls, and now I'm able to identify them. Their phone numbers are different because I read they use VPNs, and they keep sending you texts which has links and from weird places. So avoiding those. Even if you pick up a call, it won't affect you, but once you identify that a bank is calling, always cross check with your bank. Whenever I receive, people tell me that I receive a call from my bank, I talk with them, I put down my call, and I call my own manager. And many times it has happened that my manager said no such scheme exists, or no such person exists in our office. Also, it doesn't only happen from banks. I made a booking in a hotel, and somehow, I don't know how data works, but they got to know about it, the fraudsters, and I got a fraud call just claiming that they were from that hotel, just trying to confirm. So then I didn't give them any information, and I contacted the hotel through the online website that I was using. They said, no one called me from there. So basically, I received another fraud call. So to be cautious that it is happening around you, and again, as I said, media, government, banks, all the other entities who are involved in this have to together inform people about it so that they can protect themselves. like I am doing right now.
Do you have any advice to thwart cyber financial fraud?
As I said, there are always individuals, ethical hackers, YouTubers who are able to identify these people, hack into their CCTVs, find them out. If you go online, there are so many people from other countries who are constantly finding out fraudsters from India. I wonder if our government is doing that. If our government police is using such ethical hackers, because I don't see any media covering such stories, because if those things happen, it generally tend to come out. So I think we can do such things and it will help a lot because it is happening at such a huge scale. Any helping hand is good and help and making people aware, that's it. I don't see any other solution.
Okay, Mr. Vignesh, thank you. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. I am sure it must have been very hard to relive those days where you went through so much trauma, but I'm very sure that this experience that you have shared with our audience will help them a lot in combating against cyber fraud. Thank you. Thank you to the audience for watching.